So maybe, like, I don't know what you want to share first about your study. If you have some, yes, like some background, how do you justify this, or what would be the problem that you have when you want to solve somehow?
Yeah, so we're doing a study called the Youth Emotion and Smartphone Study. What we're doing is using a smartphone app to learn about depressive symptoms in adolescents, age 12 to 18, because that's the age range where teens are at especially high risk of becoming depressed. And we because with the phones, they can answer questions about how they're feeling and what symptoms they're experiencing every day, multiple times a day. So we get a really in-depth look at what each individual teen is experiencing. And that's what we want to do. There are therapies and medications for adolescent depression, but they're not anywhere close to 100% effective. And, what we think the research seems to be saying is that the depression looks different in each teen. Like early on, we just said some teens are going to be really sad, but some are not going to be sad at all. Some are going to be irritable, and some other teens might be just kind of like bored and not interested in what they used to be interested in. So it can really look different in each teen, but all these teens are getting the same treatment. So what we want to do is to personalize the treatment, to really make it tailored to help each teen the most possible so that they can get the most benefit from the treatment. But to do that, we need a really in-depth study. So we're 1 whole month, the teens are answering questions about their symptoms on the phone 6 to 7 times a day, just for a brief survey, 1-minute survey, but frequently, so that we know which symptoms are coming up the most, which symptoms seem to be the most important ones that we really need to target first in treatment for them to get the best, the most benefit.
Okay, so you're going to do this 1 month of frequently asking through this application, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna do these brief surveys, and then at the beginning and end of the 1 month, we interview both the teen and the parent, with the more standard questionnaires, interviews, and then we also have the app. So I think you may know, well, speaking of mobile apps, most of our phones now can track our behavior in many ways, right? It has GPS. It knows how much we're moving around in a day. It knows how many steps we've taken. It can estimate how many texts we're sending and what kinds of words we're using. So these are all behaviors that researchers are starting to see, have some links with depressive symptoms. So our app is also recording these kinds of behaviors because we want to see whether they can tell us, things about someone's depressive symptoms. For a number of reasons. One, it's somebody reporting what they're feeling. That's the important piece of information, but what they're actually doing, their behavior in day-to-day life. That's another separate piece of information that is important to know, and maybe can tell us more about somebody's experience and their depressive symptoms, and help us to personalize the treatment for them better. And the second reason is that if the these behaviors that the smartphone tracks, if it's kind of tells us very similar information to the symptoms, then we don't have to keep asking people questions about how they're feeling. If we find that, for example, the number of steps they take a day is very closely related to how tired they're feeling, which is one of the depressive symptoms, then maybe we can use that as an estimate and not have to ask somebody multiple times a day. And the long-term goal. So this current study is just this 1 month to understand, in about 50 to 60 teens, age 12 to 18, individually, what does the depression look like? But the future goal is if we can develop a smartphone app that can track through behavior or brief surveys, right, what someone's depression is like, and then help us to design an individually tailored treatment for them, that would be very cool. And also like how much are they moving around from home? Like are they going up a lot, or are they staying home all the time? Right, somebody who might be depressed might be staying home a lot of the time. How many texts or phone calls are they making? What kind of words are they typing in their texts? So it's not that as researchers we go and read the text, but what we can do is we can pick out certain words that are used more often by people who are depressed. There are certain kinds of words, more negative words, or words that are more absolute, like a must do this. Like those kinds of words are used more often by people who are depressed. So that is, every day our smartphone already collects a lot of data and it goes to these app companies, but if we can use it to do something good and inform science and inform society, why not? Yeah, this study is a paid study. So actually, we're looking for families in South Florida, in Miami-Dade County, but also a couple of other surrounding counties, Broward, Palm Beach, Collier, and Monroe counties. They can participate and they can earn up to roughly $200 for participating if they do everything. Parents and teens total.
Okay, and it would last 1 month from what I get.
Yes, it lasts 1 month. And so how to participate, we have a website. While we have our lab website, and we have a page about this study.
It's from 12 to 18.
12 to 18, and they need to have one caregiver who is a parent or a legal guardian to participate with them. And if they go to this website, they can fill out our contact form, leave us their information, and then someone from our team will call them and ask them some questions to see whether they are suitable to participate in this study. And they can also refer someone else. So if they know another family with teens who might be interested, they can refer someone else. And if the other family joins the study, then they can get paid also, like $10 gift card for each family that they refer that joins our study. A couple of other things that we are hoping will be beneficial to families, because we are looking for teens who have some elevated symptoms of depression. And they may not have like a clinical diagnosis, but if they have some symptoms of depression that is more than the average, teen, then and a couple of other questions that we ask, like they need to have a phone to be able to participate. Then we will invite them to participate in the study, and we'll do a screening. Yeah, so actually we do a screening. One of the things that teens and parents may not be aware is that the teen is actually depressed, or have more symptoms compared to other teens. So we do this screening, and we tell the parent and the teen, that whether they have higher levels of depressive symptoms compared to other teens. And then at that point, we also send them some resources for if they want to seek professional help. We also send them like information for hotlines, like if they just need to talk to someone, they can definitely call or text the hotline. And then we invite them to participate in the study. We also do suicide risk assessment and safety plan. Unfortunately, one of the symptoms of depression is having suicidal thoughts or having, suicide attempts. So for safety reasons, we do suicide risk assessment. We do ask about thoughts of suicide, or suicide attempts. And we let the teen know that when it comes to safety, we have to let the parent know. Sometimes we do have to let others know in order to keep them safe. And then we do a safety plan with them. So after asking about what kinds of thoughts they've had in the past or currently, we'll do a plan with them that collaboratively with the teen and the parent, so that they know what to do in order to hopefully avoid suicidal thoughts in the future. But or if they have them, where who they can get help from, what kind of activities will help them, what kind of hotlines to call, which is the emergency room to go to, so that if there is something that's happening, there is a plan that can help them to hopefully prevent a crisis, or even if there's a crisis, they can they know what to do now that they've discussed it.
Okay. And well, I would like to know a little bit more about this relation of the thing you said about how many steps you have a day, and what would be the relation to the being depressed? Maybe a person depressed wouldn't have too many steps a day or something like that.
So this research in terms of the behavior tracked by the smartphone and how that relates to depressive symptoms, that's a very new area of research. There definitely are some studies about this, but very few in teens. So that's why we are doing this study. But we could guess, right? We could hypothesize that if somebody is depressed and they may not want to get up and move around very much or do anything very much. So we might expect, somebody who is depressed may not be having a lot of steps, and we may not see them leave their home very much.
Yeah, it makes me think about the pandemic and how it changed everyone's life and reduced a lot of those steps that we took every day. So I think it makes me think about the context and some other factors that would affect this. And it's really interesting. It's really interesting to kind of take all of these information that, I don't know, Facebook and the other apps take from you and kind of find relations to being depressed or something like that you're watching on. I think it's really interesting. And you talk a little bit about suicide, and I would like to know if you have any pages or any websites that the people could kind of visit when they are having, I don't know, suicidal thoughts, or any hotlines. And I don't know if you have all of those information a little bit public that we can share, maybe when we publish this video, or maybe when we publish any other posts, if you have those.
I have some information, but it's not it's not on our website. So there's crisischat.org, there's the Trevor Project.org, there's crisistextline.org, and then there's 211, which is for somebody who, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can call or text and get crisis counseling, or kind of, find services.
And also, finally, before we go, I would like you to talk a little bit more about the screening you're doing, and maybe if someone needs or is thinking they have symptoms and they could participate in this study, what do you want them to do? Like, do you want them to go to the website or talk to you directly? Do you have like a procedure on that?
So they should go to our website, which I've put in the chat, and I can email to you too, so that you have that. And then they should click on our contact us form and fill in their information. Like, we'll ask for their name and their age, their phone number, their email, and then for the parent also. So a parent or a teen can fill this out, but we always call the parent first to make sure that the parent knows what the study is about and see that they're okay with proceeding before we reach out to the teen.
Okay, perfect. Well, it was really nice talking to you. Thank you so much for coming here today and having this interview with us. I'm really honored to talk to you and to kind of promote this a study you're working on. It sounds really interesting. And I don't know if you want to say something else maybe I didn't talk about or ask.
Well, if somebody is in a crisis, if they're already feeling like they have suicidal thoughts and it might be hard to stay safe, they should definitely let a trusted adult know, and the trusted adult should bring them to the nearest ER or call 911. So if it's serious, they shouldn't wait. They should take steps to get help right away.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Maggie. Thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you again for inviting me, Andrea, to do this interview. It was a pleasure talking with you.